Welcome back, Wolfpack Brillis here, and this looks very interesting. So, single battle with all sorts of shenanigans. We have Ralt, we have just, yeah, I don't even know what's going to go on. Clef Key open, Ralt's hanging in the background, and just legendaries on the opponent's side. So, Charizard lead into the Clef Key. Not the most ideal for Clef Key, unfortunately. If it wants to set up, it doesn't want to do it against something that it's going to be weak against. So, Light Screen anticipating the Charizard Y, and we're going to see what it is. So, Charizard with that Overheat. Not going to Mega Evolve, just going to kind of come in, do some damage, and Overheat behind that Light Screen, not going to KO. And that's going to be a special attack drop for Charizard. So Citrus Berry going to come in, heal up Clef Key really nice, and after looking at the damage, still has a bit of threat to knock out, but Thunder Wave is going to set up, going to reduce that Charizard's strength, and we're going to see how the rest of this ends up going. So Charizard is paralyzed, does get that to come across, and Clef Key goes for the Foul Play. So Light Screen, Foul Play, and then all that. So Flare Blitz, interesting mixed Charizard right here. Flare Blitz going to come across. That's going to work really well after the Overheat, and that's going to just knock out Clef Key right there. So Charizard packing some damage. Could just Mega Evolve and Charizard X, might just be sitting on it. And Greninja comes in for the follow-up. So Charizard doesn't like any of that, and Greninja is going to have to deal with it. So Zekrom is going to come in. How's Zekrom going to handle this? So Terravolt, that's its own thing going on. Greninja with the Dark Pulse. Trying to get a read, trying to scout out some damage. Nice neutral hit right there coming in from Greninja. Life Orb to be expected, and Greninja with the U-turn. So just going to switch out, try to get that safe switch, do a little bit of extra damage to Zekrom, and deal with it the way it can. I just used deal with it twice in the same battle. Talking about the same situation. Anyway, we're going to come back into Trevenant. Oh, if the Trevenant setup is real, this could get pretty crazy. So Fusion Bolt going to come in, super effective hit, or not super effective, stab hit, solid hit, but it's going to be resisted, and Light Screen wears off. So Zen Headbutt going to come in from the Zekrom. Not the most insane hit, but Leech Seed is going to come off, and we don't see a Citrus Berry. So maybe Chesto Resto set, Lumberry potential, Harvest, all sorts of craziness, and we're going to see how this one ends up coming through. So that's going to be the leftovers heal, and Volt Switch. So Trevenant sticking in, and now we get the Volt Switch from that Zekrom. Now we get to see what Trevenant is up to. Does have a couple of play potentials to be made, and Dialga comes in. So Dialga versus Trevenant, there's the rest. Now we're going to see that Lumberry or the Chesto. I like Chesto a bit more because it doesn't get broken off, and since Rest is going to be healing your status anyways, at least you're doing it under your terms. So that's going to be the Lumberry. And there's the Harvest, so it gets its Lumberry back on that turn, which works out just fine. Flash Cannon onto Trevenant from the Dialga. Woo, busting a bit of damage, and the Will-O-Wisp is going to come across. So Dialga not throwing out those physical attacks, hitting hard special. And that's going to be a free burn onto Dialga though. We do still have that Lumberry, and Trevenant, it makes the safe call. It switches out. It doesn't want to get knocked out. It can still rest whenever. And Goodra comes in to soak up the special hits. So, eats that Flash Cannon. Actually, still... Oh, I was about to say, that was a lot of damage, though. Little under half of its health, but Leftovers comes in. After that crit, you know, it's not going to be too much damage to fear. And Dialga uses Roar of Time. So it goes for that super effective Dragon hit, going to shut itself down for the next turn, but Goodra didn't stand a chance, even as a special defensive tank. A lot of super effective stab ridiculousness coming across. And now Lopunny comes in. So Lopunny, it gets fighting. It's going to like that Steel type, and it's going to like all this free stuff. So Drain Punch not going to be enough to knock it out. Critical hit even, but Dialga has to recharge, and Burns going to knock it out next turn, so depending on what this Lopunny's carrying, it can play around the Dialga really well. Some of these guys are running Cosmic Power. Could be a nice little chance to get Cosmic Power. Dialga might just go for the Roar of Time, nothing to lose. But then Lopunny's just going to get the outspeed as well. You know, Dialga goes down, so now we're starting to see some KOs. Some KOs getting bounced around. Zekrom's still pretty low. I'm always a fan of Mega Lopunny. I've said that every time this week we see the Mega Lopunny. Always a fan. Finally get to see it doing work. And now we got that Primal Kyogre. Primal Kyogre is an interesting Pokemon because you don't get that Scarf outspeed insane damage from the Water Spout, but you do get its own buffs, and I think it's more of a doubles Pokemon than a singles. We're just going to see how this goes. Lopunny with a Thunder Punch, though. That's going to be a decent hit. Not enough to really go for that Super KO. And then Origin Pulse, that's going to be a heavy stab hit. That's just going to be a knocked out Lopunny. Too much rain, too many shenanigans. Togekiss comes in. Oh, if this is Scarf Kiss, that could be hilarious. No, Kyogre going for the Ice Beam. So Ice Beam right there. Going to keep it alive. Togekiss with a Thunder Wave. Going to slow down that Kyogre. Very much needed. We might see the Para-Hacks right now. Para-Flinch Togekiss, man. That's the old school days. So Air Slash going to come in. That's going to start the lockdown, you know. It's going to be Paralysis or Flinch. Very high chance for the shutdown. And Dazzling Gleam. So now carrying over a little bit of damage. Trying to get what it can onto the Kyogre. Ice Beam going to hit again. I would have tried to keep my odds with that Flinch. But Togekiss does go down to the Kyogre. Kyogre pretty powerful. Now we have Greninja. So Greninja, it has a good amount of options. It can kind of throw out whatever and still secure the KO. So the opponent, it accepts Kyogre's fate. You know, Kyogre did a lot of work. 2 KOs, got paralyzed, so it does go down to the Greninja. Heavy Rain lifts because Kyogre is gone, and now Sharpedo comes in. Sharpedo, pretty threatening. Greninja not going to be too worried. There's that U-turn, going to get the outspeed. We didn't see a Protect, we didn't see any speed boost, and it's just going to KO just like that. So Sharpedo's rough skin. I guess the opponent, I don't even know what the opponent was up to. Maybe just trying to get greedy, expect the damage? Not sure at all. So Greninja going to also return, but now Peter's at a disadvantage. He's going to show his Pokemon Trevenant, and now we can see what the opponent brings in as a response. Ralts. I was wondering what this Ralts was up to. Trevenant gets that free rest, but what is Ralts up to? That's all I'm going to ask. I have no idea. Bringing in that Ralts, like, if you're putting Ralts on the same team as a Primal Kyogre, you're expecting it to get some work done. Confusion. Okay. Gets the Confusion. So that's confused. I know it has Destiny Bond potential. But what else can it do? So Disarming Voice. It's just going to hit. Going to do a decent amount of damage. Not really. Harvest is going to retrieve the Lumberry. And Trevenant's just going to go for that Horn Leech. So Ralts not being too impressive. That's just going to get knocked out. Maybe it's the guy trying to be fair. Like, I'll bring a Ralts if you let me bring all these other legendary Pokemon. I don't know what was going on there, but Trevenant comes back, or Trevenant's out. Zekrom is in. I think the opponent's only down to like 1 or 2 more Pokemon. Zekrom's already really low. Trevenant got free heals off of all that. And the Volt Switch from Zekrom. Going to try to damage Trevenant. Not very effective. Trevenant's going to see if he can get a read. Most likely Will-O-Wisp going to come in. And Charizard. So yeah, Charizard can eat up that Will-O-Wisp. Oh no, went for the Leech Seed. There's the player right there. Anticipating all the options, getting that Leech Seed going. And that's going to heal up, do some damage to Charizard. I know Trevenant's tanky, but I don't think it's that tanky to eat it up. So yeah, it does switch out, but Leech Seed's still on Charizard. Greninja comes in, tries to soak up that hit. And there's the Flare Blitz. So Greninja's pretty frail. Will it be enough? Yeah, Greninja still survives. Flare Blitz going to deal damage. Then we also do have to worry about, you know, Greninja, a lot of speed, a lot of damage threat from that Leech Seed. I'm pretty sure this battle's over. So we just have an interesting battle, you know, back and forth, a lot of legendary power, but then just dealing with the legendaries pretty well. Greninja's going to get the cleanup, you know, that's going to be a KO right there. Zekrom doesn't really have too many options as well, so that's the GG. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's Fan Fridays. I'm not sure about next week Fan Fridays. Might do 3, 4, or 5 battles. Still don't know yet because going on vacation, so you'll hear about it when you hear about it. And that's going to be the Ice Beam onto Zekrom. GG. Hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's Fan Fries. I hope you all have a nice day, had a nice week, and have a nice forever. I don't know.